On this episode of Bumpy's beer review from Rock Art Brewery, maybe it's Brewing Company. No, I was right the first time. Rock Art Brewery. I have their Russian Imperial Stout. This one was aged 6 months in Angel's Envy bourbon barrels. It comes in at 10% ABV and is 70 IBUs. That is the label art right there. This was canned a year ago, a year and 3 months. So let's go ahead and crack it open. Right, and Rock Art is located in Morrisville, Vermont as well. The head on this pretty tight knit mocha cocoa head. The beer itself has some real deep ruby red notes or colors and some kind of caramel tones as well in the reservoir down here with light, but other than that it's really dark, pretty much black. Some aromas on this do pick up on the bourbon pretty well. There's also a little bit of an appley type note, a little green apple-esque, which could still be coming from the bourbon or the oak barrels. So it's oaky, it's appley. There's kind of a chocolate cocoa. It smells boozy. Little dark fruit notes as well, kind of dates to raisin. See a little underlying like leather. All right, let's dive right in for the first sip. So cheers. So it's got a fairly smooth mouthfeel to it. Carbonation's there, but it's not super carbonated. Right up front, I got a lot of that bourbon tone, and then it does pick up. I'm getting all the finishing touches that I'm going to talk about right now. I'll go back, and for the center, this is all deconstructed. Start with the very end, right? But yeah, a lot of tones of like that darker, richer, toasted malt. So it's got this kind of bit of a char, burnt popcorn like type finish. There is quite a bit of an alcoholic warming in my throat and in my chest. I'd say just a little bit of an alcoholic presence on the palate as well. But yeah, big roasty, dark malt char like notes for the finish. Let's get in, talk more about the beginning. Yeah, so right up front, you're getting kind of a cocoa chocolate mixed with the bourbon tones. It's not fruity on the palate. I'm not able to detect any of those dark fruits like I was getting out of the aromatics. But yeah, this one's warming as hell. This is definitely a beer that does not hide its ABV. All right, I danced it around on the tongue a little bit. That's when I was starting to get more of that kind of like raisin type note. The bitterness on this, I mean, it's 70 IBUs. It is over a year old. But yeah, it does have a pretty big lingering bitterness. It's all with that char type note. A little bit of grain starting to come through. I would say somewhat piney as well with that finish, with all the char and everything. Yeah, as the grain note starts to come through, I'm not really liking that too much. This one's not super warm yet, as far as like it's not in that 50-55 degree range, because I did just take it out of the fridge. Maybe it's probably only been out of the fridge for 10 minutes or so. Probably coming closer to 15 at this point. So I'd say it's down at least in the 40 degree range. So it might open up a little bit more as it warms, but hopefully it doesn't bring forth more of that grain type note. I'd say more of the aromatics on this beer that allows more of that kind of bourbon note. I think there's just more out of the aromas than what I'm getting off the palate. So I'd say yes, you do get a bit of that bourbon there from the bourbon barrel age, but only 6 months in. I mean, it'd be nice. I think like at least a year. It may have drawn more out onto the palate itself versus just being an aromatic for the most part. You do just get a touch of it though on the palate right up front. So for this Russian Imperial Stout that was aged in those Angel Envy bourbon barrels, jeez, I would score this one in like the bottom end of very good. Yeah, like I said, I think it needed more time in the barrels, just to leach out more of the oakiness and the other goodness of a bourbon barrel. But overall, I think a pretty hefty, decent stout. I don't really care for that grain note that's starting to come through, but that's another reason why it's not closer to the excellent range. So anyways, cheers, and thank you all for watching.